All right, now, so we're going to drill on the equities market performance. And joining us right now on the show, we have Olumide Additional, financial market analyst, joining us on the program via Zoom. Great to have you, Olumide.
Yeah, great to have you, Ladi. Good evening.
Good evening. So quite a performance, from the in the equities market for Q1. But I want your assessment, right now of the last 3 months for the equities market.
Yeah, great question, Ladi. Despite the fact that we have growing geopolitical uncertainty across major markets around the world, and also the heightened security concerns in Africa's biggest economy, the Nigerian stock market came on strong footing in Q1. We saw asset appreciation across spectrum, rising about 3 trillion naira, meaning that the index opened earlier at about 22 trillion naira and ended March at over 25 trillion. And that was exciting because we saw decent earning reports. We're coming from an era of COVID-19 where a lot of stimulus spending enacted by the CBN really helped many of these banking stocks and also industrials. But surprisingly, if you look at what really weighed on the index positivity was the oil sector, which gathered about 28% appreciation relatively. We understand that what is happening in Russia and Ukraine has really distorted energy prices, and really that has really pushed Nigerians that have exposure in oil stocks to weigh positively on that stock. And stocks like Zeblat is really going above 52-week high, suggesting that the momentum is with them, despite recent reports that suggested that they might lose out of the ExxonMobil sale due to NNPC's first refusal. We are seeing that the Nigerian stock, the Nigerian oil sector is really gathering investors' confidence, partly because, like I earlier said, high oil prices. But looking for the banking stock, also notable gains. One of Nigeria's most profitable entities. We look at the likes of Zenith Bank, brought in decent record sales. Also, GT, despite the fact that profit dipped in compared to 2020, they also brought in profits of about 221 billion naira. That really also with some positivity around the banking sector. You need to also recall that this is coming at the point where low interest income is at play. The Apex Bank have refused to be hawkish because it's trying to support the economy and trying to stimulate spending. So that has really affected interest income earning from banks. But having said that, I think one of the laggards were the pension, the insurance stocks. We saw that it dipped in Q1 by 6%, and that was partly because investors did not see anything exciting, where long expected consolidation among many of these insurance stocks, and also because many of these stocks are priced in some form of penny metrics. Within investors are usually very parabolic in making those movements. So positivity in Nigerian stock in Q1, when you compare it to what we see in Russia, is down 40%. Compared to what you see in the Dow, the S&P, and the Nasdaq, it means that Nigerian investors have a reason to smile.
A reason to smile. Exactly, because we've seen global markets actually go up and down during this first quarter. But what stocks actually stood out for you in the equities market this past week?
You can't ignore the big giant, MTN, of course.
The elephant in the room.
Yeah, they got their Momo license final approval from CBN, and that also gives them a very systemic importance in the Nigerian financial ecosystem. And if you understand how it has played out in Kenya and Ghana, you will see why a lot of pundits are saying that this might be a game changer. But we can't underestimate the Nigerian banking infrastructure and the fact that we've seen a lot of products come in play. Take the like of First Money by First Bank, take the like of Alert by Wema Bank, and also the recently introduced Naira will really give the banks pushing, and that's why we see GT having great exposure in that. In fact, statistics suggested that 40% of the Naira download comes from GT. So it tells you that the banks are getting position. But one of the key advantages MTN is having, and and that's why the share is trading above near its 52-week high. Is because your phone bar becomes your digital wallet, and you don't need VPN, so it makes transaction very, because of MTN has a very wider than more users. But I think one of the things to consider is that they can't give out loans. They're not allowed to participate in commercial banking. Foreign transactions also cannot be done. The positivity is that investors are looking at it to bring in more revenues for MTN. And also GT2 is another exciting stock that I'm also looking at, despite the fact that I mentioned earlier, their profit dipped in 2021. They declared a dividend for 2021 at 3 naira, which is very exciting. If you look at their dividend yield, it's moving about 12%. And also the bank is well positioned to get in much more bulk in 2022. They have one of the most solid corporate governors in the Nigerian banking industry. They have a great solid team. So I think with all those things said, I think
quite
my bets are
interesting.
with those two stocks.
And we're seeing, digital lending actually are growing at this time. Maybe sometime, in the future, we might see, some of these mobile money operators actually go, in that direction. But, would you recommend a buy, sell, or hold on stocks for, investors in the equities market at the moment?
Yeah, I think for me, buy would definitely be banking stocks. I don't want to mention particular names. Like I mentioned, if you look at 2021, despite the low interest regime, because of, I mentioned that the CBN is trying to encourage civil spend, we saw that banks brought in decent gains. And we even see some banks that have not declared dividend for a long while, like ETI, that's Ecobank, parent company, also declined. So it tells you that when interest rates definitely go on the upside, these bank earnings will definitely be positive. So I think exposure in that sector should not be ignored. Also, telcos, like I mentioned, surprisingly, it's not surprising to see MTN and Airtel trading at a premium right now. But I think for me, it's caution to hold, because we are in an election year, and historically, times have often shown that this period is when shares will usually moderate. So despite the fact we are seeing year-to-date gain on the Nigerian stock market moving at around 10%, it might not be like that in Q2, because investors will reposition, look at the weakened security apparatus,
right,
especially in Nigerian oil sector, and that could weigh in the longer run market.
All right, Olumide. Well, another shortened trading week next week. We'll see how the market plays out. Thank you so much, Olumide, for coming on the program. It was great having you.
Thank you.